Okay, some of you out there, that's fan shit. It shows that all you do is you think like a fan and you don't think actually objectively like a professional, like a normal human being. Vrabel's getting paid by the Titans to be a head coach next year. Okay. He will wait an entire year for more openings and another 8 openings next year because that's what happens in this league. 6 to 8 coaches will get fired every single year. So if he doesn't get a head coaching job this year, he will wait because he will be first in line and people will want him. If he doesn't get a job now, please stop being stupid. He will not be a defensive coordinator, bro. He's a head coach, and he's one of the 10 best head coaches in the NFL. He knows that. His agent knows that. He will get another head coaching job. He's not going to be the Dolphins' defensive coordinator and then head coach in the wings for 2025. Let's stop smoking bad weed. Okay?
Hey, wait, Big O. So you're telling me Bill Belichick isn't happening either?
Yeah, no, that's another one. I mean, it's just some fans out there, you're just so ridiculous. And you just think some of this stuff that you come up with and you just don't really think about reality. Mike Vrabel should be one of the 10 most wanted coaches in the NFL by this league, okay? Because he's one of the best in the NFL. He's the reason why your Dolphins did not actually, and he had a much lesser team and beat the Dolphins. I mean, dude, give me a break. Okay, it's just some of the stuff that fans come up with. It's just you're too much of a fan, bro. Just be a little bit more realistic, please.
Let fans be fans sometimes, Big O.
No, not on this show. They can go be somewhere else. Go on another platform that's run by a fan. And then that way you all think the same and you can have all your silly thoughts. Here, we're going to straighten you out and we're going to tell you, hey, wake up. Get out of your dream. You're dreaming. You're not banging Halle Berry. Wake up. So we got to wake them up here. We live in reality here. We don't play that fantasy stuff. So your thoughts on the Fangio deal? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, we knew from going back that he really liked the Philadelphia Eagles as being a Philadelphia guy. When he was asked during the season, hey, if the Gannon stuff wouldn't have happened with the tampering, would that have been somewhere where you would have gone? And he said he couldn't confirm or deny it. He didn't really shut it down. So it's something that just the whole time it kind of left you like, okay, this isn't his number one option. And sure enough, timing didn't work out then. It worked out now for him, and so he's gone. First chance he gets, and obviously the way the season went as well, then it sort of inclined something like this to happen. He wasn't getting along with a lot of the players. Jalen Ramsey complaining about his schemes and Fangio schemes, and Ramsey's role in a lot of the defenses, not being able to shadow certain guys, whether he's in those zones all the time. And I saw one stat that the Dolphins were actually playing press coverage the second least all season. That's on a team with Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard. Granted, we know that's not Fangio's style, but maybe a little bit more of some give and take from him could have worked out better. And then you saw some of the player reaction, not only Ramsey, what he has said, but that you also see Javon Holland kicking rocks, posting that video, telling Fangio to kick rocks. Cam Smith saying he's unlocked now. So
the only thing I would tell you, because you just said it, and I've read it already with some others, and I've heard other people talk about it. Let's not talk about X shadowing anything anymore, please. That's not accurate. Okay, Jalen Ramsey, you can talk about shadowing, but X hasn't been a shadow corner for a while now. He has not played well since he had his 10 interceptions. He has 7 since then in 3 seasons. And he has not looked good overall. So let's not I wouldn't trust X anymore shadowing anything at this point. Let's be honest now. So let's not talk about that. And by the way, for Jalen Ramsey on shadowing, last time I checked, he shadowed a receiver into the game-leading touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. And then Miami had to come back and win that game too. So, let's not make it sound like, oh no, if you shot him, that's it. It was going to be over. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to get burned. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Here's my problem with the whole old man stuff. Their stats were good. Overall, they were a good defense. They got a franchise record in sacks. You know, I get it. Maybe he had some problems with Cam Smith, and maybe he had a difference of opinion with Ramsey, but that's because the old man is set in his ways. And everywhere he's gone, his defense has always been good. And it was good here in Miami also. Now, the Tennessee game is always going to be a thorn in his side because, you gave up the 15 points in 3 minutes and you lost the game, and that really set the team back. So I get all of that. He's not perfect. But see, here's my problem. The most accomplished person is the one that walked out. The people that are complaining or pointing fingers or whatever, I'm sorry, that unit hasn't accomplished anything. This team hasn't accomplished anything. So, I'm going to mutually part ways with this, and I'm going to say the people complaining, that falls on deaf ears. The old man, he didn't want to be here. Let's just move on. But the people complaining, I'm sorry, dude. You have nothing to say. You weren't this dominant defense for several years and a great defense and leading this team into deep playoff runs or anything that Fangio brought you back. No, in fact, Fangio improved you this year from the last couple of years. So I can't really point fingers and say the old man was such a problem.
Yeah, and you talk about accomplished, and this is a guy who has 20 years as a defensive coordinator in the NFL, running a lot of very successful defenses, those 49ers, the assistant coach of the year with the Bears, head coach for 3 seasons with the Broncos. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on as far as his resume. Now it's just, is it more so his coaching style or the new age of players coming in now that they want to be coached a certain way and aren't as receptive to this old school style of coaching? And Big O, me as even if I'm a little bit of a younger guy, I'm kind of like old school in my
mentality.
You
are actually. Yes, you are. Yeah, but wait a minute. I mentioned this on the show, brother. So what's up with the offensive linemen? They're not whining and complaining because last time I heard, Butch Berry is a screaming son of a gun. He's going to let your ass have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had players complaining about him at his last stop with the Broncos. Players were complaining about him there.
Right. So, and again, what have they accomplished?
Yeah, nothing. And the offensive line. Well,
nothing lately. Those guys. Lately the Broncos haven't accomplished. They're not allowed to complain about anything lately. That's my point.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So now Butch Berry comes here, and he's a hard ass, just like the old man is. But our offensive linemen aren't. In fact, they love the guy. They actually praise him for their improvements personally. Austin Jackson loves his ass, doesn't he? I think Austin was one of those guys praising Butch Berry. So,
Austin Jackson should. He had his best season as soon as Butch Berry gets here. Gets his contract extension after previously the 5th-year option was not picked up for him. So he did end up, getting his. And I wonder also if there was some give and take as well with possibly Butch Berry adjusting himself a little bit, especially under a guy like Mike McDaniel, who is definitely more so on the players' coach side of things. So maybe there was a little bit of a give and take. I think probably both things are true, that definitely the Dolphins offensive line players were more receptive to his style of coaching because he still is the way he is. He's still going to yell at you, scream at. I mean, we see it oftentimes, whether it was in even in the press conference setting, but then also the times that we get a glimpse at the offensive line being close to us and what we're able to watch at practice. He is in their ass. I mean, so he's still that style of coach at heart. Maybe he eased up on some of the aspects of it that maybe got him in a little bit of trouble in Denver, but all in all, it became a nice balance.
Listen, I'm going to stay consistent like I was last year. In the end, the defensive coordinator was not the problem, not Josh Boyer and not Vic Fangio. The real problem was the inconsistencies of the offense. And whatever it was, from not winning a challenge to not staying with the run, maybe forcing the ball too much to Tyreek and Waddle, not using a short passing game, not using the tight end. Just like Vic Fangio put Cam Smith in the shit house. Well, you signed Gesicki And then you just decided not to even try to really implement them into your offense and put them in your shit house for the entire year. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. For me, the real issue the last 2 years has been the offense. The offense is the thing that, as potent as it's been, it's been the thing that has failed this team in several games and in several moments. And the coach leads the way with whatever, not getting in a play on time, forgetting the down, not winning a challenge, whatever it is, dude. 100 things that I can come up with. So all the smoke and mirrors about Fangio, all you want, just like last year with Josh Boyer. I'm sorry, dude. My focus is on Mike McDaniel. That's the guy that really needs to drastically improve next year.
Yeah, and you mentioned Gesicki, him being in the doghouse last year. That was the most expensive rotational backup tight end that you could ever imagine when he's playing that few of snaps and not starting. And even though he was a good red zone target, he got touchdowns as a tight end, which the Dolphins did not have one from any tight end all of this season either. Although their role is more of in the blocking wide zone scheme.
And they still didn't use him enough because that's what you want for your quarterback. Give him big targets. So instead, this coach uses Tyreek Hill for fades instead of big players.
Or Cedric Wilson he was a common end zone fade route guy multiple times that we saw. One time, which Mike McDaniel, even on Hard Knocks, in front of the whole team, was calling it a shit play call. I believe was his own words. So yeah, but you mentioned the offense. I mean, and how much at fault they are in relation to the defense. Yeah, you look at the Titans debacle toward the end. It was just the defense gave up those 2 drives, but it was just as much on not being able to get a first down when the Dolphins had the ball in between. So you ran no time off the clock, gave it right back to them with all the momentum. And then all you need is a field goal at the end because you're still just right there, have the win in front of you, even though you gave up those 15 unanswered and still nothing. So that loss was it was 2 bad drives on the defense and then also those 2 chances missed by the offense. So 2-2 there. The Bills game, offense didn't keep up. It was looking like a shootout back and forth early, but then the Dolphins offense stopped keeping up. It was touchdown. Then Bills kept scoring touchdowns. Dolphins did not. So both sides at fault there for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. But for me, there were too many instances where the offense failed the team, throughout the year, and it cost them just like last year. I'm hoping that ends up becoming
mostly every big game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mostly
now,
big game, although they had the number 1 offense and number 2 scoring offense, all that. Big games did not show up.
No, they didn't show up,
unfortunately. They were inflated by the 70-20. When they got all those rankings after week 3 that they were number 1 in everything, it was really hard to move down because it was hard for that average to come down very much from how high it was off that one game alone.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Who gets the job? I keep thinking it's going to be from within. For 2 reasons. One, for continuity purposes, which is the most obvious one. And because McDaniel doesn't have a lot, his leash is shorter now than it's ever been after the first 2 years. So he's got to get this right and turn the corner. And 2, I think it would be good for him and his staff that he's promoting from within. If you go and bring somebody from the outside, I think you have you could create a problem with your staff from within. And then on top of all of that, a lot of changes may come with that because that person has a different way of doing things. And, we've watched it. Channing Tindall was drafted for another defense, doesn't fit what you're doing now. Maybe he'll fit the next go around, I'm not sure. But Ogba was paid for another defense, and he doesn't fit the one you were doing now. So all these kind of changes happen. We just talked about Jerome Baker. He probably would have been gone in the offseason. Maybe now with Campanelli or Hill, maybe they're more comfortable with him and they keep him, and that's less changes in continuity is better for them than going to the outside. Because a lot of people have talked about Brandon Staley or other people. Who gets this defensive coordinator job and why?
Yeah, you make a good point on as far as within the continuity. I think the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel wanted continuity on defense, and it was more so Fangio just jetting out of there. So, yeah, the names you mentioned, Campanelli and Hill, would be at the top of the list. Ronaldo Hill has previous defensive coordinator experience. So he's done it before, similar system, all that. He's done it. Campanelli. Now he has experience in the last 2 defenses that the Dolphins have run. So I actually would be interested to know what his own philosophy is. Would he go the same route as Vic Fangio and that quarters coverage, cover 2, cover 6, all that zone coverages, or is he more of the mindset of what the Dolphins had previously, which is how he joined the Dolphins as linebackers coach under Brian Flores and Josh Boyer as defensive coordinator? Maybe it's some combination of the two, and he takes little bits and pieces from everyone that he's had over him. So that could be an interesting one. And also with Campanelli, I just love his fire. I mean, everyone saw it. Those of us that cover the team knew this about him, but it sort of was open for the public to now see when Hard Knocks showed that debut episode of the season, and he's giving that fiery speech with so much passion. Almost like you see, like I saw a clip of Dan Campbell the other day of when he was on Hard Knocks and just the way he spoke to his team. And Campanelli has a lot of that in him. So as far as being the leader of one side of the ball, I really like him for that role. And he's a guy that would really grab the attention, grab the respect of the players that he coaches. And then when you look at all those outside candidates, all the top ones, it seems like there's one thing or maybe more that's just kind of off about each situation. Like if it was Sean Desai who was interviewed last year, well, he just had a falling out with the Eagles. So he's the reason why it just became open over in Philadelphia for Fangio to go over there. If it's like, I don't know, you want to throw out like Leslie Frazier, well, he took a year off. Yeah, you'd be taking a guy who's very familiar with Buffalo. So from that perspective, it could be good. But sort of also just that older guy. Fangio didn't click with the players. Frazier would probably click a little bit better, but still, he's of the same generation. So if that part of it wasn't what worked out, then maybe not really. One guy that interests me is Raheem Morris. Now he's up for head coaching jobs. So
yeah, he's not good. Yeah.
But Evero as well. He's also up for head coaching jobs, getting interviewed. So maybe that's sort of in your category of fan talk, fantasy. Stop even thinking about it. Yeah, probably a notch below Vrabel and that. But if you look at like a Wink Martindale is possibly another candidate.
That's more realistic. Yeah, that's more realistic.
He just got canned from the Giants. Now that would be a shift back in mindset to, he blitzes a lot, so that would be sort of going back to what Boyer did.
Well, I wish they would have blitzed Lamar some. Jesus. Dude.
Yeah. Right. That worked one time very well in 2021 for the Dolphins, and then Lamar.
Both years, the last 2 years,
and the second half of the 22 game, he was tearing them up in the first half of that game. They made some adjustments.
The first half, he had his half, and then they shut him down the second half, and the offense stormed back and won, and that was beautiful, dude. Both sides did their job. One shut it down after they did the same thing in the Detroit game. They got smoked in the first half, and then the second half, the defense stepped up, shut them down, and the offense came back and won. Remember last year, those were the 2 games where the defense had terrible first halves, and then they came back with beautiful second halves, and the offense also did their job too on scoring. So it was those two games were actually really cool in that sense.
Yeah, if there's one thing you do have to sort of tip your cap to Josh Boyer was those halftime adjustments that season specifically. I recall another one of the Bills games. It might have even been both in Buffalo, where they're coming out of the half. Yeah, the Bills were having their way because one of them was a shootout. That snow game was a little bit of a shootout, but they got a couple stops in that third quarter. And then also that playoff game, hey, they were leading deep into that third quarter with a defensive touchdown, forcing turnovers on Josh Allen, with Skylar Thompson starting at quarterback. So,
our boy in that game gave up on the run and forgot what down it was.
Yeah, and took very long to get play calls in and
constantly, which again puts your quarterback at a complete disadvantage. You get the play in late, you can't change the protections, you can't even change the play. You just, it's just, bro, he's got to get organized, man. He's got to get organized.
By the way, on that point, did you see in the 49ers divisional game against the Packers, there was a moment where that was almost going to happen to the 49ers. It was a go-ahead, or not go-ahead, it was a Well, actually, one of the go-ahead because it was a back and forth. Christian McCaffrey's long touchdown run George Kittle was about to move in motion, and Brock Purdy had the wherewithal because there's 2 seconds on the play clock. He told them, no, stay there. So, yeah, obviously they were late, and it's a similar scheme. It's Kyle Shanahan's offense, Mike McDaniel. So they were about to run a motion with 2 seconds on the play clock. Brock Purdy, he noticed that was not going to work with how much time they had. He said, stay there. Don't worry about moving to the other side. We snapped the ball. And then Christian McCaffrey is going off for a go-ahead touchdown. It works well even with Kittle on the wrong side of the formation because he didn't motion out. So sometimes, hey, just scratch all that pre-snap motion and just get the play in sometimes. Although I know it is such a big deal as to why a lot of the successful aspects of the offense are there. But, it can work sometimes when you just simplify it.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. They fired his assistant. So why is Danny Crossman still here?
I knew that, this point was going to be brought up. I saw Cam Wolf had this scoop earlier today, friend of the show, along with the other 3 offensive assistants. So, I found that pretty funny. We were talking about Danny Crossman. Well, Big O, it was the assistant special teams coach the whole time. That's what it was.
Yeah, I guess so.
So he takes the brunt of it, at least for now. I mean, I think if Fangio's gone, okay, so maybe that would have been the first domino to fall. But then now we find out all these other, lower level 3 offensive.
This was last week was players. This week was coaches. They're done. Right. That's it.
Yeah. So it seems like that's what it is. So I'm not really here now waiting. Okay, so when does the Danny Crossman? That was me yesterday after Fangio. I was thinking, okay, maybe now, tomorrow, which would now be today, we hear about if it's Crossman or not. And then what we do get is these other assistants, which I have since confirmed all 4 of those are gone. So, I guess they skipped right over all of that. And it seems like Crossman survives again.
Crazy. I can't figure that out. All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel? So folks, you out.
Yeah, and a lot of the candidates, so listing defensive coordinator candidates right now, got a list of 10 with insight on all of them that I finished up right before I got on with you. So either has already been published or should be going up on our site any minute now. And then I'm actually, right as this search heats up, I had already planned a vacation. I'll be in Colombia over the weekend. So I might be behind on some news. So please excuse me if I'm not tweeting it right away. I'll try to check whenever I can, but I'm also going to be having a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, bro, go ahead. You deserve it, man. You work hard on the beat every day, traveling and everything. You gotta, if you work hard, you gotta play hard, my brother. So enjoy yourself in Colombia. You're going where? Medellin,
Medellin.
Where are you going?
Yeah, Medellin.
Okay, all right.
First time over there.
You know that we're at level 3 for travel there, right? You know that, right? I just want you, just in case, to make sure you know that.
As far as security,
yes, we're at level 3, so be careful. As I tell anybody that you're going to Colombia or you're going somewhere like that, dress like a bum, okay? Dress like me, jeans and a concert shirt, okay? Just do not go, because I know you. You got the stylish Cartier glasses, and then you're wearing the Rolex, and you got gold rings and chains, and so do not show off anything. Nothing. All right? I'm just telling you. Make sure. Do not take brand new sneakers that you just bought that cost $250. No, bro. Take a pair of Bobos.
I don't even own anything.
Bobos. They make your feet feel fine. Bobos. So make sure you take a cheap pair of Keds. They're worn out or something. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you got the wrong one if you're thinking I'm buying all that expensive clothes. I know.
Like you're renting a Ferrari when you get to Colombia. What's wrong with you? Come on.
Well, the exchange rate I hear is tremendous. I'm going with a friend that's done the trip before, so he kind of knows his way. He says he has a driver and everything, and that it's safe. But I mean, I got all the wrong clothes in the laundry right now. I got to leave all that nice clothes at home.
Super cash, bro. Yeah, do not go with stylish stuff. Don't show them you have any kind of cash. That's all I'm telling you. Okay, you're going to Colombia, you're going to Brazil, you're going to Argentina, you're going to some of those places. Yeah, you need to dress like like they do. That's all. Just hang out, bro. I'm telling you. All right. If you want, I'll lend you an old Metallica shirt or something so you can go.
You know what? Maybe I won't even bring luggage, and I'll just buy whatever clothes they have over there.
That's it. That's it. You know what a buddy of mine did, right? Because people put up videos on YouTube, travel videos, and hey, I'm living here, living there, and then they show you videos of the city and people going out and all that. So he went and watched videos of Colombia, actually, because he was going with his family, but he went to go see how they dress and all that, and so they bought clothes to look like regular Colombians, which I thought was smart, by the way. That's smart, actually, to kind of look just like everybody else, and you just kind of walk around. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you've got blonde hair and blue eyes, you're probably going to stand out no matter what you wear. You know what I'm saying? But that's
I at least am already Hispanic as a Cuban American.
Yes, so. Yeah, you're good on the Hispanic looking side. So
there we go. Yeah.
You're in the safe department there on that one.
Well, hopefully I make it back and I can join you again on Tuesday. Then.
You will make it back, my brother. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Safe travels.
Thank you.
You got it. There you go. The great David Furones. Love it. And Welt Rheaume, 954-966-4646. I'm going to see the boys next week. I'm excited because they're going to tell us about a new office that they're opening. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. For now, the office is in Hollywood. I don't know where the new office is. They also have an office in the Keys, too. So our friends that are watching and listening in the Keys, you can call Welt Rheaume. And maybe you don't need a lawyer right now. And I hope you don't, actually. I hope you never need a lawyer, okay? Because usually that's because you have some issue. But if you need one, Welt Rheaume, you can count on them. They did great for us. I mean, they killed it. That Progressive was coming at us with all kinds of negativity, and Welt Rheaume shut their asses down. They got the person that was coming after us fired. That's how incompetent they were in trying to screw us. Welt Rheaume stuck the screws to them. They'll do the same thing for you. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show.